Hello and welcome to the first day of Namm 2025. I'm going to be here with you every day for the next 3 days, bringing you daily coverage of all the new gear from as many brands as we can visit in the 3 days. Now, you may have seen over the last few years, people have been saying that the Namm show is dead, it's dying. And there was some reason to suspect that. A lot of the big brands pulled out after COVID. But to tell you the truth, here it's anything but dead, especially in atmosphere. All the brands that weren't there last year, the year before, are back. We've got PRS, we've got Fender, we've got Gibson, we've got Wind, we've got Marshall, Orange, Boss, Roland is back. A lot of the big brands that weren't there are here now, and I'm excited to see them. Unfortunately today, though, we're going to have to start off our Namm coverage with a bit of bad news for someone that really doesn't deserve bad news. So we're going to head to that booth first, and then we'll get into the good news. So we're here with Sully from Sully Guitars, and Sully, bit of bad news to start off the Namm. There is a guitar that is missing, presumed stolen.
Right.
And we're going to put a picture on the screen right now. It looks cool. It's kind of hard to miss.
I miss it. But yes, visually, it's very hard to miss. It's our Concorde model. This is tough. So, you've seen the picture. Very multicolored. It was a finish that I've wanted to do for 20 years. The inspiration came from the Swatch watches of the 80s. And there are a couple of other finishes that I've wanted to do for about 20 years, but they're really ridiculous. But not like an, oh my God, that's ridiculous. We'll get to those another time. So that particular guitar is it's a Concorde, it's a neck through. We don't really make neck throughs because, quite frankly, it's an unnecessary pain in the ass. It's a lot of additional extra work, and the juice often isn't worth the squeeze. But if we're, from a manufacturing standpoint, it's very unsafe for me to make neck through guitars by hand. It's a lot of balancing and that sort of thing. So we've been trying to move these things over to the CNC, and this guitar was like, let's test this process out. And holy cats, this thing rips. It was a lot of re-engineering that had to be done. There was a lot of work. There was at least a couple years worth of work before I even made the thing. And so we made the thing, and it rips. I got here, and all of our boxes were here except for one. The folks that delivered the shipment to this area, they had all of the tracking numbers on all of our boxes, and they said these are the ones that we dropped off, and that those tracking numbers were all there. So sometime between when they dropped them off on Friday to when I got here on Tuesday, a day before setup, that box went missing. Now, a lot of people have been really, really sweet. The first thing, we all watch various cop shows and check the CCTV, because they're everywhere. Kids, not here. And while there's a ton of security in Namm while the show is going on, when there is nothing here,
a brown cardboard box kind of blends in with absolutely everything else being loaded in.
Except for the fact that, as you know, what our boxes look like. It's got the Sully Guitars logo on it. It says fragile, not just emotionally, because I like to try and make people smile a little bit. And my thought is, if I can make a baggage handler or a shipping courier pick this thing up and smile a little bit, maybe they'll,
not drop it.
Yeah. Or if they do, they'll feel bad for a minute. Anyway, so it is gone. If you see it, give your boy a shout. Let us know in the comments. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to KDH. He's going to tell you everything that you want to know about every single thing. You want to know how to make the greatest peanut butter and jelly sandwich? He knows. You want to know how to fix the tire pressure light on your car keeps coming on? He knows.
I do actually know that.
See? But we're not here to talk about that right now.
We're here to talk about some very cool looking guitars that have not been stolen. Except they stole my heart. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. So speaking of engineering marvels, this is a 71 Trello. It's a single humbucker. This also was something that I didn't want to do this for 20 years because this design hasn't existed for 20 years, but it's existed since 2009, so that's almost 20 years. The way that we make set neck guitars, the neck extends into the body to like where a neck pickup is, and then so it's hidden there. So to do a single humbucker, the way that it's very challenging for us to be able to do it. It's something that I've wanted to do, and you know, I can't necessarily dedicate a whole bunch of time to doing this when I want to do it because I've got to make guitars for all of you nice people who want to buy guitars from nice people like me. So single humbucker, we kind of sunk this down a little bit so it's a little sleeker, it's a lower profile. This is already a very speedy guitar. It is even more so now, I would like to say, because it's just even easier to play, I feel, and who doesn't like that? So super sparkly finish. It's got a Floyd, because why wouldn't it? Even underneath sparkles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, girl, get in on that. Get you some. Look, get you some sparkle. Get you some more sparkle. Oh, you need a little bit more. I know it. I know that about you. Let's talk about the Supernova, shall we? So it's an X shape. It's an X shape. We've got a Floyd. We've got the little sporkly little bit underneath. These ones have Fishman Fluence modern pickups. It's got a volume knob. It's got a switch. We haven't made a whole ton of these yet, and so what happens when we're developing a newer model is I change things around a lot, and you got to make like 4 or 5 of them before you figure out what you've got. So this one, I thought I put the toggle switch up here for laughsies. Seems to be good, and the finish, we call it glamouflage. So the story behind this is I made a Supernova for a wonderful client who wanted a camo pattern. And it was, a traditional camo pattern, not a camel pattern. I might do a camel pattern. Trademark Sully Guitars, don't make a guitar with a camel pattern. And it was a hunter orange and all that stuff. And then a buddy of mine gave me this really rad windbreaker. It was like super like 90s, like it was magenta and yellow and black and seafoam green. And another one of our wonderful clients saw me in that jacket and said, so you have to do this, but in that color palette. And I couldn't agree more. And so we have the Glamouflage Supernova.
Now, we just recorded a whole lot of talk with Sully. We went through everything in detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload the full interview in a separate video. This Namm overview, we're just showing some clips, but it was a killer interview, as all are with Sully.
I was hurt in an accident, and KDH Guitars got me money for my pain and suffering.
So, Marshall are back at Namm for the first time in a while now, and you've come back with a lot of new stuff. Some interesting stuff, new products. Could you run us through some of the ideas behind?
Yeah, no problem. So we've got 3 new product ranges coming out this time. We've got a range of pedals, which are based on some of our classic amps from the different eras. So we've got a 1959, JCM 800, JCM 900, right up to JVM. So overdrive pedals, which give people a little bit of those flavors of the classic amp ranges. We've also got a Studio 900. So adding to the Studio range, we're sort of finishing that off with the 90s. So same as the model we produce in full size. So we've got 2 channels, spring reverb, all of the things which go into that.
Just in a 20-watt package?
20 watt. This time we've listened to people about the low power mode. So rather than just 20 watt and 5 watt, we've got a sub 1 watt mode. So you can actually get it down to kind of bedroom levels. We know people commented on that previously. So that's one of the new ones, head and combo format. We've gone to the T75 speaker, same as we would have used in JCM 900s back in the day and in the cabinets from the range. And then we've got the modified series. which is where we've started going into the world of modified Marshalls. We know lots of people have been doing those for decades. There are some brilliant examples out there, and we thought, we should really be doing some of that. So we've modified a 1959 and a 2203, kind of aimed for some of the things which we know people are wanting in those, give people a bit more versatility, and
Okay.
those products.
Right. Very nice. Thank you, John from Marshall. Right, so Marshall are one of the brands that have come back to Namm this year. They've released a few new things. We've had a look at some of them, the modified series, and I think that's kind of going to be the competition with Friedman. Friedman are, I believe, they're releasing something new here as well, a modified Jose mod amplifier. And it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out, because there's obviously some competition. Friedman are more established in the modified Marshall space, but Marshall are going for a piece of that. It'll be very interesting to see how the market responds to these two amps kind of competing for space in a collection. So we're here at the Friedman booth, Dave Friedman, and you've got a new amplifier that's coming out. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
So so I had been a big fan of Jose mods over the years, and I've sort of become one of the experts on those amps. I've worked on so many for people like Steve Vai and John Sykes and all these people. So I was like, wouldn't it be great to get in touch with the family? And he has a daughter still. And we got in touch with her, and we made a little deal to make some products, celebrating his legacy in the amp world. He was kind of a pioneer for this stuff, for modern day amps that we know and love today. So essentially we made an amplifier that essentially incorporates most every mod he ever did in one amplifier. So it's the lower gain mods he did, it's the higher gain mods he did. It has it all of the ones that were the most sought after, the most of the ones that the artist had that everyone liked and stuff like that.
Right, very nice.
Yeah.
So how much would one of these kind of retail for, do you think?
I think it's going to be $37.99. This is a direct only in the U.S. It's direct. We're doing a direct sale model on this particular model.
Okay, and Dave, there are Friedman guitars as well.
Yes, there
Could you
are.
show us a few of them?
This is a vintage S guitar, and this has got. We did a lot of new graphics this year. This has got a vintage car racing stripe kind of deal in I forgot what they call this blue. Super cool guitar. I like guitars to feel worn in. The only reason I did aged guitars originally was because I really liked the feel of an old worn-in guitar, and this gets you there without 20 years of abuse. Some people don't care for that, but the nice thing about these is, you don't have to worry about scratching them.
That's the thing. It's not going to be for everyone, but it's going to be for some people that'll really like it.
And here's a Cali guitar. This is our Cali model in shockingly bright pink. And a matching logo.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Fun. We have a bunch of other ones around here that are cool. These are all done in California by a luthier friend of mine, Billy Rowe, from Rock and Roll Relics, and these are to our specs.
Very nice, Thank you. We're here at the Ernie Ball booth at Namm 2025, and we're going to take a quick look because they've released some new Sterling models. These are the lower priced or more accessible models from Ernie Ball, and I believe anyway, the new ones of interest will be, that's very nice. This one here, it's a purple sparkle look. I don't know if it's new or not, but I know that it's looking nice. The bits that are of interest though are here. You've got the sabers from Sterling, as well as the Abasi, the Kazan. I think that's how you say it. Sterling models. So a bit more of an entry-level price tag, or well, not entry-level, but a little bit more accessible. So we're here in the sound booth of the Yamaha booth, huge, very impressive, and I'm here with Andy. And Andy, there's a new product from Yamaha this year, quite an interesting one I hear. This is the trans-acoustic?
This is the next evolution of transacoustic technology. For your viewers that might not be familiar, we actually, about 10 years ago, took some technology from our piano division of having the secondary sound source inside of the instrument that was doing affected sound. So on the first generation transacoustic, you could get reverb, two different types of reverb and chorus out of the guitar, unplugged from any sound source. It was all generated within. So on the new edition of transacoustic, what it's doing now is I've got chorus, reverb, delay, looper, Bluetooth, and a really nifty rechargeable battery. So what we're doing now, and it's basically for your viewers and stuff, having effects in the guitar is that thing that unlocks that creativity thing, right? When you have an acoustic guitar in your head, mine always has reverb on it, because that's the way I grew up hearing it, right? Is on record, or if I'm plugged into a PA system, the guitar has reverb on it. So what we're able to do now, I've got delay, I've got a tap tempo control on the top of it. Yeah, so like we were saying is that built-in delay, reverb, and effects, but also what it now has, it has looping capability. So there's internal memory in here that I can do a loop. Now if I want to record that I just played, watch this. So basically I have unlimited looping time in the guitar, and through the new TAG3 remote app, remember it's Bluetooth, so at Yamaha we're going to develop an app for it as well. With the app I can go in and really tweak the effects and parameters, and I have looper storage in the app. So you can build a loop in the guitar and then store it in the app, come back a week later, activate the app, and that loop will come back into your guitar again. So it's just amazing technology, but what we're trying to do is that for your viewer and stuff, technology rarely comes into the acoustic room of a music store. So what we're able to do now with the first generation transacoustic and the new TAG3C is give that player those little bit of effects that unlock their creativity. On a personal note, I play this guitar longer. I don't put it down as fast. I don't get bored as quickly because there's something there that is feeding that creativity loop, being it chorus, delay, effect, and looper, and being it's Bluetooth as well. I can use this as a music speaker. So if I want to stream music from my phone, I can hang this on the wall and just hit your phone, and you can play music right through it. So just amazing technology and kind of only available from Yamaha.
And what would something like this retail for?
This is now $16.99 US with the hard bag, and now it's an all solid guitar. So it's solid Sitka spruce, solid mahogany back and sides with a walnut bridge and a walnut board. And then we give you the gig bag, $16.99. And once again, your viewers will not be able to put it down because it's that much of a thought-provoking and creative instrument.
Thank you, Andy.
We appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in.
We're here with Dean Gordon. If you've seen any of the previous Namm videos, you'll know Dean's work. He's got some pretty cool looking guitars. Let's take a look.
Awesome. So we're here at Namm 2025, obviously, and always having KDH come here is a highlight because a lot of media guys seem to ignore me for whatever reason, but I give all the props to him. Follow this guy, really, he's genuine. So this year, we went a little crazy and did an insane sparkle holographic white finish. It's a bit of a play on something that Ernie Ball does. They call it Her Majesty's Request. So I actually cheesily named this His Majesty's Denial. It's a little stupid, but I don't know. I like to have a little fun and not take it as seriously. Again, besides the crazy finish and all the matching hardware and the headstocks, it's really flaked up. Just the flame maple neck. You can't get over that really wide, beautiful flame maple. But this is my Mirus model. So all these come standard with carbon fiber rods in the neck, 24 stainless steel frets. So you get all the playability and, the stability out of the neck. This one has the Schaller harness bridge. It's one of my favorite bridges. Very smooth. It's an articulate bridge, a lot of snap. And this is actually the first guitar I've ever made with Fishman pickups. So these are the Fishman open core pickups. Really dynamic. Maybe a lot of guys watching this would have maybe heard of these pickups before, but I think they're great. You get a lot, 9 different voices out of it. So it's a 3-way switch, and with each position you get 3 different voices. So very dynamic guitar and really fun, lightweight, ergonomic for those who are interested in an ergonomic guitar.
I really love the bolt-on joint. That's really cool.
Yeah, so this one I like to say is more like my Les Paul. So I believe firmly that having the extra screws makes for a bit tighter of a neck joint, kind of emulating a glued-in neck joint. So you get a little more of that tonal transfer between the body, and it gives, I feel, more of that glued-in set neck kind of sound. It's still a bolt-on, so you get that snappiness, but I think that tries to bridge the gap. And of course, I think it adds a little bit of stability to the neck. So, that's something actually on the Mirus model that a lot of people, some make jokes about. Oh, you got enough screws in there? Really funny. But yeah, this was actually the first design of mine, so it's something that I take a lot of pride in. So this one, you see it's the center of the booth. I don't want to say it's the crown jewel of the booth, but it seems to be one of the highlights as well, next to the white holographic. It's actually a BMW color. So what I like to do with colors, I'm heavy on the automotive inspiration. So one of the things we do is we take color codes from the automotive manufacturers. So every car, the paint job comes with the code that, if they need to do repairs. So if you want to order a guitar for me, for instance, I really like that Ferrari or a BMW, for instance. We get the color code of the color you like so we can match it exactly. So this is BMW Java Green. And this is my Virtus headless model. Again, standard has all the bells and whistles, carbon fiber rods in the neck, 24 stainless steel frets, compound radius on the neck, so it's ultra smooth playability. This one has the Seymour Duncan JB rails, really hot, punchy pickups. They're right up in your face, and they're actually kind of really affordable pickups too. So great, for something if you want to get really good soloing out of the guitar. Again, the Virtus model is my more aggressive style. It's a little more, you really have great access to the frets, effortless. You don't even have to try to get up here, and it's just very slim, very easygoing guitar. Seeing them on a camera just does no justice versus seeing them in person. Maybe these guys can attest to that. And then, of course, look at the neck here, beautiful.
That's
one of my signatures is staining the neck black, so this is Cortison flame maple, and I do a green carbon fiber. This is real carbon fiber, epoxied to the back of the headstock, just for a little detail, make it a little more special for Namm. But yeah, the headless ones are something, again, I take pride in all my guitars, but I happen to think my design with the aluminum lower horn here really lends to the headless world. So it's something that I'm really trying to push.
It's really it's a sports car guitar, I think.
Exactly. I take so much inspiration from the automotive world. I know maybe a lot of guys do that. It's not new in the guitar world to do the automotive inspiration. But I think a lot of guys do it, and it's just candy apple red. It's not done maybe right. I don't try not to sound snobby, but I really try to do it right and apply not just colors or a logo. Some guys might put a Corvette logo on their guitar. I try to really blend that in with the overall physical design of the guitar as well.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Where can people find your work?
So, again, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Dean Gordon Guitars. I have my website, which is deangordonguitars.com. And come over there, give me a follow, give me a like, whatever you want to do. And again, I can't say enough about this guy. He comes by every year. It means the world to me. As a small maker, I get a lot of media guys that come by and they just ignore me. So the fact that this guy's come here every time since I've started the Namm show, I have so much respect for these guys. They're so down to earth. Follow them. They deserve every subscriber that they can get.
Thank you so much, Dean. Have a great show.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
We're here with Tim from Martin, and this is a very special guitar,
Yes.
Tim.
Very special guitar. This is our 3 millionth serial number. And what's significant about it is it's paying homage to the past, present, and future of the company. So as you know, Martin and Company has been around since 1833. The specialness of this guitar is the workers. So Chris Martin wanted to pay homage to everybody who has had a hand in the making of the company and in the future. So as you can see, the back has a sycamore tree. We chose that because we are on 510 Sycamore Street in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. The map on the pickguard shows the location of the 3 different companies, or the 3 different locations of the company over the years. We had the first one on Cherry Hill, and then that lasted for about 20 years. Finally, the company was able to move in Nazareth proper because it was a Moravian community, and then they incorporated and allowed outsiders in. So a nod to the Moravians is the Moravian Star, which you see throughout. And then finally in 1964, we moved to the Sycamore Street location. So that's why it signified. We're also incorporating human fingerprints on the gold sycamore leaves, and those signify and represent all the workers who have had a hand in making all of our guitars.
And what's the top of this made out of?
So the top is made out of Adirondack spruce, which you can see in these exposed sections. All of the other pieces are inlaid into the top. So the bark lines, which are these tiny little gold lines, they're actually very deep. They're about 80 thousandths deep, solid gold. And in between that, we inlaid other colors to represent other things. So you can signify different events. This is 1833. As we move out, we get into the Civil War time. And as we learned through our research, when a tree grows and has significant challenges, the growth lines actually become darker. And so these darker lines were a significant challenging time in the United States history. So pretty interesting overall. Sometimes you don't get a chance to see this level of detail on many guitars. And one last thing I'll point out is the purfling that goes around the outside of the guitar is a Hex X design. That is to signify our innovation for the Inception guitar that we launched last year, that we started skeletonizing the bracing. So.
Okay, and this guitar, it's probably going to be kept on, like in the Martin.
Yes, you can see this particular one in the Martin Museum. We're building a second version of this for Chris Martin to do presentations with around the world. And then lastly, there'll be a third one just like this for sale. So one lucky person will get to buy that one.
And how much would you say that would be?
Right now, we're looking about 1.5. Now, the other thing is there's a D300, which is a scaled down version of this. So instead of gold, it has fine silver, has shell in replacement of some of these gold pieces. That is limited to 30 guitars for a MAP price of $300,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for showing us, Tim. So we've just been at the Martin booth. We got a nice close-up of the 3 millionth Martin made. And we got to see that a little bit last night at the Namm Media event. And what was interesting about that was Peter Frampton was there. And he was talking about his first Martin guitar. I filmed a little bit of him talking about that. I thought it was a cool story, so I'm going to put that in here.
Let's get right into it. You've been a great friend to Martin for a long time. How did you come to play Martins, and what are some of your favorites in your collection?
Well, the one that I like the most, obviously, has my name on it, which is very nice. Thank you very much. No, what happened was, very briefly, is that I heard Stephen Stills and Neil Young playing Martins with Buffalo Springfield, and I wanted that sound. So when I left Humble Pie in 1970, I went to Manny's in New York and put down a deposit on a D45. And I got that and played it on an album of Mike Frampton's Camel, which if you hear an acoustic, it's the D45. Then we went on the road, and between the Agora in Cleveland and another one, somebody took it, and it disappeared, which was very sad at the time. And it's very hard to like go and get another Martin after you've had one that is like a hand in glove, you know. Right. Even though they're all good. But for whatever reason, I went back to my Epiphone at the time, which I'd had for years. And then I went to the Namm show in the early 90s and met up with Big Boke, and great man, really nice man. And he said, you don't have a Martin? I said, no, I don't have a Martin. He said, but we have to put that right. I said, well, I would like that. And that's when he said, well, tell me the story about it. So I told him how I lost it. And he said, well, we should commemorate that and make it the Frampton's Camel guitar. So that's when he put the little camel on the headstock and inside and everything, and gave me the prototypes, and then we had a short run of them, a small run of them. Right. And it's still, I use it all the time. I have a bunch of them, but
absolutely, that's wonderful. What a wonderful story.
Okay, so we are currently midway through day one at Namm, and I would like to take this opportunity to ask you to subscribe, because this is a daily thing for the next 3 days. But I do also want to talk a little bit about something that is a little bit kind of unusual, and it's the sense that this Namm has been talked about as a 5-day event, but it's not. It is a 3-day event. For the last 2 days, there's been things on, but this is the first day of the exhibition. This is the first day of what everyone knows as the Namm show, and I'm having fun so far. So I would also ask you to let me know what booths you want me to visit, tomorrow. So we are here at Badcat Namm 2025, and I'm here with Mark Sampson, and I'm here with John from Badcat. We've met before, John, if you've seen the Badcat factory tour. But you guys have worked together on a new amplifier. Well,
we worked together only in that I said, Mark, would you build me a new amp? That was my together part of it. But yeah, basically the story is I chased him down and pursued him. Obviously sort of like a hero for me, right? And we got together, and the first thing he said was, I'm not building amps for you, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But then I think he felt sorry for me after a while. And anyway, we got together, and I asked him, I said, well, build me, like if you never left matchless in 1999, what does the DC-30 look like after having 25 years of experience, what you know, applied to that model? And he came up with this Era 30. We're so proud to announce it at the show here.
Okay. So this amplifier, this is what did you really want to have in it? What was for you?
When he said we want to do a 25th anniversary amp, and I went, well, okay, his math is way off. There's no way this company's 25 years old. And I started going, wait a minute, let's see, maybe it actually is 25 years old. So then my next thought process was, okay, I can't just make a reissue of something I did 25 years ago. The technology has marched on. There's a lot of improvements I can make. So I started going, okay, I can improve this, I can improve that. There are things that have always bothered me about that design. The two channels being out of phase drove me crazy because you can't hook them together. You know, if you do, you get the weird snorkel tone. So that bothered me. Not having separate masters on each channel was a big issue too. And so that led to, okay, now I got to make one channel, I got to flip the phase on one of them. And so then, okay, a master on each channel. And I thought, well, when I'm doing this, I want that pentode over in the corner because it's an acoustically dead spot and the tube won't rattle as much, or we may be able to get completely rid of the rattling. So I flipped the channels so that the pentode is on the inputs, the left side instead of the center. And then as I was working on it, I realized, you know, it's just, I can't turn it down. I can get my gain structure where I want on each channel, but I really want to hear a global master. So I thought, okay, I want, like I had in the early Badcat, where I've got a post-phase inverter master, and it's a global master. So I can set the channels to the gain structure I want, and then I can use the global to turn it down or up as needed. And then the other issue is, and it's always been a thorn in my side, but it is part of fact of life, the effects loops. I hate them, but you can't build an amp today without an effects loop. It won't sell. So one of the things I insisted on was it has to be hardwire bypass when nothing's plugged in. So you can get the pure sound for recording and tracking, but you know, it doesn't mess it all up, you know, the original dry tone. Excuse me. What else did we do different?
That's all we did. That's it. No,
that's not it.
Well, then we found like the old Tolex. It was kind of the old Matza style, old Badcat style Tolex. We, you know, leather corners. We laid it out. We had to do it point to point. Had to do it point to point hand wired. Mark obviously laid it out a certain way. We went in and kind of made it so it was manufacturable. And we're going to build, I don't know, maybe 250 of them this year or something like that.
And how much would one of these retail for?
I think they're going to be US 3,800, something like that. Yeah, but I mean, it's named the Era on purpose because I found that the most searched thing on my website was Samson Era Badcat. And I thought, now they're going to find it for sure.
That actually is such a smart idea. Well, thank you guys for showing us the amp. So we're here at the Vola booth for Namm 2025, and you got some new guitars to show us.
That we do.
We're starting here.
Absolutely. So we just released our J3 series, which are the signature guitars of Pierre and Quentin from the band Kadinja. This is Pierre's model here. Features an ash body, but it's actually a sandwich style body. So if you look close, it has, layer of ash, layer of walnut, and yet another layer of ash underneath. So really, really gorgeous. It also has bare knuckle pickups and some interesting electronics that tie into it too. So we have a mini switch that will split the humbucker between series, coil tap, and parallel. And then we also have a volume knob that will tie in the neck pickup regardless of position. Moving down, we have a 27-inch scale and stainless steel frets on a roasted maple neck, a lumen lay Kadinja inlay just for good measure. And then down towards the headstock, we have a 3/4 layout, a Floyd bar, and we also have Godot locking tuners that tie in really nicely to the Godot 510 trim down here. So in the same vein, Quentin's model over here. Similar layout, except this body is alder, walnut, and then alder. Same sandwich style body. The bare knuckle pickups as well, and then we have the Godot 510 trim. Same configuration with the humbucker switch and the neck pickup addition. 27-inch scale, stainless steel frets, and the Kadinja inlay, and then the same headstock layout too. And this also has the Floyd bar and the 3/4 layout with Godot locking tuners. So super stoked to be releasing these. They've been received really well, and we've been really excited to talk about them and share them over the past couple weeks. And hearing Pierre and Quentin play them is even more of a reward.
And these are the first 27-inch Vola 7
They
strings,
are,
right?
yeah, which is a great step forward for us. A lot of people have asked for them, so we've been trying to deliver, you know? Yeah, so those are the J3 series. They're available now. And we also, just a few weeks before that, released 3 new colors of our JZ FRO series. So these 3 in the center are the featured colors. So we have a copper finish, which is absolutely stunning. This one has this nice sparkle flake to it. And we also have a shell pink and a black option, which we've added. So 5 total colors available for these. These ones feature a Goto 510 trim, the VFP 90 pickups, so you can kind of get that nice split between a humbucker single coil sound. And then we also have the VS1 single coil in the center here, which is available when you tie in the volume push pull pot. It also features a direct switch if you want to bypass the electronics. You know, I always consider that like a live performance take. Like you're out there playing live, you have the volume and the tone rolled off, and then you need an extra punch, and that's where you hit that direct switch and gives you that extra kick that you need. These ones also have flamed roasted maple necks with lumen lay dots, 22 frets, and if you look at the flame on the neck, it is just absolutely amazing. Almost has like a 3D essence to it. Gorgeous.
And how much would something like this retail for?
This is about $12.29 USD.
Not bad for that flame neck.
Not bad at all, yeah. And they're very sturdy. Each one kind of has its own, allure to it. And with the lumen lay dots, it makes it really easy to play in the dark. Reverse headstock to give it like more of a modern flair, and also has the Goto locking tuners and string tree just to keep that brake angle in check too.
And these are all made in Japan as well?
They sure are, yeah, so the quality is there. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you for your time.
That was Vola. So we're on the 3rd floor of the Namm show, just taking a breather on... there's a lot of walking to this place. But we found out that the Fender booth isn't really a booth. It's specifically for dealers, and well, I guess that is what this show is about. It's a trade show at the end of the day, but it means that we can't really show you any of the EVHs, the Charvels, the Jacksons, the Fenders. So they're at Namm, but they're not really at Namm for the lay people like us. What I can do though is I can show you a little clip that I thought was quite interesting from the media night that was last night, where a Fender rep was talking about their price points. They're trying to bring it down a little bit with a new import line. So I'll put that clip in here in place of a Fender booth walkthrough.
But there's also price points and selection within a product line. There has to be a logic to what we have and what we do and what we offer people that everybody can make sense of. So as manufacturers deal with challenges, supply chain constraints, you heard about that over the last several years, inflation, obsolescence, capabilities, even potentially at this show, tariffs that we're all talking about right now, price points do continue to move, and product lines must continue to evolve to adapt to that. Our Made in Mexico Player 2 series is one of the best-selling series in the market, but as its quality and its feature set has continued to improve, its price point has also gone up, which has left a several $100 gap between where Squier stops and where Fender starts. So at this show, we are going to be introducing a new imported series of Fender guitars and basses, the Standard Series, to address this gap. These are not to replace the Player Series or the Classic Vibe Series. It is to supply a customer option in a price band that we had previously vacated or abdicated. A price band where we think about 12% of the guitar business is done. You have to go where the people are. You have to, where people's budgets lie. So there is now, this is big news, there is now a new entry point into Fender electric guitars with the Standard Series. In addition, our Acoustasonic series, which we launched in 2019, that has helped create and bolster a whole new market area for hybrid guitars, bridging the gap between acoustic and electric. However, our Acoustasonics have always been over $1,000, which has been a challenge and a barrier. So at this show, we're launching the Acoustasonic Standard, which brings the price point down to $600, a lot more accessible, a lot more able for more people to buy it and to experience this platform at a lower level.
We're here with Bascom Zuta at the Zuta booth, Namm 2025. And you've got a new product that you're launching today, at the show. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's the Black Box C. It will come in 3 different flavors. So, Black Box stands for this discrete electronics that we have inside. That is to enhance both with a boost kind of function up to 20 dB, but also enhances the EQ spectrum of the guitar to make it more, bring out that vintagey vibe. If you go down and go up, you get this roaring, fat, solo sustain, you know. So there are going to be 3 different models, one called like BBC, BBL, and BBM, and that stands for the BB Core, BB Lux, and then it's the BB Mojo. So it's different levels of components and a little bit different flavors. So the BBC is the most modern sounding. It's based on op amp, but discrete electronics and some stuff. So it's really, really modern and good. So that's the first product. Then we're coming with a BBL in a couple of weeks, and then the BBM probably in a couple of months.
So people could mount these into their guitars. They're very small.
Yeah.
It's a preamp that you could have to enhance the pickups.
Yeah. So the thing is, you just need a 9-volt battery and this unit. And we're actually trying for the production to actually make it even smaller. So we will fit that easily in any guitar. But it can be a little bit tight. It's going to depend on the 9-volt battery. But it's always, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Just carve in those guitars.
This actually looks to be smaller. Yeah, this is smaller than a 9-volt battery.
Yeah, it is. Definitely smaller. And we're hoping to make it even smaller, but still keep the quality. So you could see it as an external kind of pedal level, discrete electronic kind of thing inside the guitar. So it's really, a lot of people trying it has been saying, feel that top end and the sizzle and the sustain, and we have it installed in one of the guitars over here, so you can try it out. And it makes it really fun to play. It gives you also that spank when you go down on it, and you have that in any distortion mode. It actually cleans up a little bit if you have it in the mid, but also gives you a spanky tone, like a Jimi Hendrix kind of style, kind of thing. And then we also finally brought head shells to our rack amps. And look how beautiful it turned out. Even recessed. So the knobs are, so the size is actually almost the size of a regular 20-watt head. So like different brands make 20 watts head and they become this size. So, but this is a 120-watt head. And it's easy to mount, just put like a rack, 4 screws. If you want to pull it out, pull it in. And and then we're also coming with this Enigma thing. And that's our MIDI box. So you have the USB-C, the MIDI in, the redundancy with the 2 foot switch jacks, and controllable by this software. So you can do with a tablet or a touch screen, and it will change the amp with the USB-C. So if you're sitting at your computer and you want to switch your amp that's in a rack or behind you, it's easily just do that with this interface. And what's even cooler that I think is it's actually become the easiest and most fun and best manual. Because as a reference manual, it's always boring, as you know, to read a manual. But this is actually so cool because whatever you want to know, you just press that button or that knob, and it will tell you exactly what it is. So you don't need to read the entire manual to figure out what this parallel loop switch thing is. And you can flip it to the back side and see what's on the back side. So I would say we're coming with some really cool things.
I've never seen that before.
And it's all analog tube amp. And it's finally something controllable with this kind of thing to make it really easy, because I really hate reading manuals. So this was the most fun way to actually, because then you can just click on the things you really want to know about.
It's a manual with functions.
Yes, it's a functional manual.
And then you've also got a line of pedals as well.
Yes, we are actually having the original foot switch to the amps, or this long one here, as you see. But then we have these compact ones that fits in our Holy Rail system. And the Holy Rail system can actually accommodate any kind of pedal just by putting in this adapter. And you can then put Velcro, and it doesn't build much, as you see. Because if you see other pedal boards, they build way bigger than this. And with our own pedals, they're very recessed.
And people can find you at
ZutaGroup.com.
ZutaGroup.com. Thank you, Bascom.
Thank you.
We're here with Ivan at Abasi Guitars.
Yes, sir.
And could you show us a couple of guitars?
Yeah. So we have two main shapes, the Lorada and the Emmy. So the Lorada is kind of where it all started for our company. This bi-shaped single cut. We have 6, 7, 8 string versions of all the guitars. This one particular is the Lorada 8 Master Series in Bell Garden Green. We have Akume bodies, roasted maple necks. Varies from different series that we do, but generally speaking, that's a popular wood combo that we use for our Master Series guitars. And what can I say? The 8 string is, we have a couple of things that we feel are specific to the 8 string that we do. You know, the neck is set pretty deeply into the body, so the overall wingspan, if you will, of the guitar is a little bit more compact and it's more comfortable for a lot of players. The string spacing is a little bit reduced, so you know, when you try to wrap your hand around playing an 8 string as opposed to 6 or 7, we really didn't want it to feel like a 6 string with more strings, but really kind of like approach it as its own instrument. Same thing with the multi-scale thing. You have shorter scale on top, longer scale on the bottom, and where we place the parallel fret produces a little bit less of a visual disparity between the two.
And how much would something like this retail? This is like the Master Series. How much would that retail for?
So our Master Series stuff is in the high $3,000 US dollars, so up to low $4,000, just depending on spec. This is something really new with us. It's our HSS setup. This is something that we worked on with Fishman, so this is exclusive to this guitar at this stage in time. So we have the same humbucker that you usually find, but 2 single coils, and we voiced them. There's a couple different things going on here under the hood. We have the main voice that's kind of matched well to play with the humbucker. So as you're switching, you get a pretty consistent level of output and general shape of the tone. And then there's also a lower output, like an underwound setting on this, which I'm personally really stoked because I come from like a more classic playing background with my like blues, jazz, different things. So I like a lower output sound sometimes. So in this you can kind of get both. So when you get on the neck and you hit the lower output setting, you're getting a lot of those kind of stratty tones that we know and love, but like on an 8 string, and the bottom end stays tight and focused.
And what's this shape called, this double cut?
Emmy.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, very nice. And I just noticed for the bass players, you also have some bass options as well.
Let me show you.
Right. Well, and they don't come, they very rarely come back.
So this is fairly new territory for us, and we've had so many people wanted to see a headless version of our Lorada design, and we stuck to our guns as far as that. Up until this point, all of our Loradas have headstocks, but especially with the bass, it really made sense. This is a long scale instrument, so reducing some of the mass here results in a really nice balance. And this thing hangs. It doesn't become neck heavy, even though you have all this neck here. And Fishman Fluence pickups as well. super versatile. I'm a big fan of these individual string bridges. This is the Master Series version, so just like the others, we have a set neck construction. Eventually, we'll make a Legion version of this with a bolt-on as well for the guys that prefer that. But yeah, this is the Lorada bass.
Very cool. Well, that's Abasi Guitars and basses. Okay, so that was the first day of Namm 2025, and I started this video with a lot of happiness about older brands coming back, but to tell you the truth, I was a little bit disappointed from day one. Not in the sense of there were a lot of cool things to see, but in the sense of Marshall were back. That was cool. And they had that big booth, and that was a triumphant return for them as far as returning to the Namm show. Fender's was, you know, you had to be a dealer, which, to be fair, is kind of the reason that Namm exists. But at the same time, it does cut out the customer base from seeing the guitars. You have to, it's an invite-only thing, and, well, I can't show you what they've got. PRS said to be here, and Paul Reed Smith was at the media day yesterday. He was on stage, he was playing guitar, and funny enough, the CEO of Namm had his mic that was live. I'll put in a clip here. But PRS's attendance at the show was limited to just a meeting room, somewhat similar to Fender. It was just for dealers. And finally, Gibson. Gibson are, you know, very proud to be back. They were talking about, they had issued a Namm type of Les Paul. I'll show that tomorrow, because I did see it in the Creator Lounge. It's a reissue of a 1955 guitar that they issued at Namm back in 1955. Namm is a very old institution, but what is most kind of disappointing is they didn't have anything. PRS had a meeting room. Gibson, I'm not even sure I saw a meeting room. They don't have a booth, so you can't really see anything. I can show you the guitars tomorrow, a handful that are just kind of sitting in a room, but it's not a Gibson booth per se, and it's not really open to the public. It's from the Creator Lounge. So suffice to say that I'm a little bit lower in enthusiasm than I was this morning, and what I was expecting from the media day yesterday, where these brands were proud to be back. But I'm having fun so far. I found Namm to be enjoyable. There were a lot of brands that have a lot of cool things. They don't necessarily need to be legacy brands for them to be cool. So that was day one at Namm. Thank you for watching, and well, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and yeah, like the video. Bye bye.